汇集天下大事，聚焦华人热点。西雅图中文电台网络电视。
Fantastic guests, honorable friends, and everyone, and I'm so grateful that all of you are here. Today we're here, we are not talking about politics, we are not talking about Democrat, Republican, 民进党, 国民党, 民进党, wherever, Taiwan or China. We are here for only one reason. We are here to support the education, the future of our young people, to support them to be the best leader in the world, which is the future of the country, and at least is the future of the world. So to educate the children is our goal tonight. And I'm so happy that I have all the board members here and also all of you to support of this event. And thank you to be here. And have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Xiaoyan. Now we'll show a short video, and it will be in Mandarin.
旗下拥有15个顾问委员会，汇集了全美及亚太地区政治、经济、科学、文化、艺术各界的亚裔翘楚。成立16年来，国际领袖基金会每年都会组织青年学子暑期公共事务实习，举办亚裔领导人才研讨会，并开展国际事务交流会、国际企业领袖高峰会。 为培育国际青年政经领袖，促进美国及亚太地区各项国际事务交流与合作，全面提升亚裔族群的全球竞争力和影响力，前进全力。截至目前，已成功培育逾7名亚裔精英学子，备受国际瞩目与肯定。 国际领袖基金会一直努力提供资源给美国亚裔社区，并积极培育国际青年政经领袖，让他们成为美国和亚太国家未来的领导者和先锋，是真正拥有国际观的优秀社团。
杰荣于1997年创立，每年培训约150位美国亚裔优秀青年，其中许多是华裔学生。今年年会的午宴特别邀请到前劳工部部长赵小兰莅临演讲。他除了跟大家分享自己成长与从政背景，也说明了中西文化冲击与家庭对自己的影响。他鼓励与会的青年学子及亚裔人士要不断充实自己，并把握机会融入西方主流社会。 至于重头戏颁奖反应部分，今年后半年度国际杰出公职服务奖的是刚刚接下副阁揆职务的前桃园县长朱立伦，而获得年度杰出公职服务奖的，则是出生于台湾新竹县的美国首位华裔联邦众议员吴政伟，以及出生于加州的美国首位华裔女性国会众议员赵美心。另外，来自西雅图的前侨委员吴小燕等12位亚裔人士，都因为在各自社区的杰出表现与服务。 而获颁发领导荣誉奖。吴小燕说，获奖感到非常光荣。他也高度肯定国际领袖基金会培训亚裔青年参与公共政策宗旨。今年来自台湾的7位优秀青年，包括王慧金、朱静娟、李佩琪、何成燕、侯成少、王汉轩、赖应杰。他们感谢有这个机会扩展国际视野。 颁奖典礼后，吴政伟与赵美心分别发表演讲，描述家庭移民接亲历程及努力向上的过程。他们强调美国给予大众越来越多平等机会，年轻一代要努力施展才华，服务社区，把握任何参与公共事务机会。这不仅是为国家贡献，也才能实现美国梦。美国华盛顿采访报道。
contribution ICA has been done since the establishment 16 years ago, and also give great access to Asian youth to the leadership. Also in this video, our Xiaoyan was awarded the Leadership Award for the great communication and contribution. Now, I'd like to invite the founder and CEO of ICA, Shi Tong, to give us a few words. She is also a member of U.S. Conversion Award. Let's welcome her.
Thank you very, very much for your kind and brave introduction. It is indeed my pleasure to be here from Washington, D.C. I always enjoy Seattle, the beautiful weather. When people ask me, how do you feel about Washington, D.C., I say it is very unpredictable. They say, which side? I say personnel and also weather. So I love Seattle so much, especially every time I come to Xiaoyan's place. I can feel the enthusiasm and also energy from her. For the past 2 years, because of personal health issue, she will not be able to have such a great party. She had a party all the time. And Xiaoyan said, Shilin, thank you very much for me. Because we have an advisory board event, she's able to bring all the dearest friends to come to this her home. Let's give Xiaoyan a round of applause. Thank her for her hard work, a good heart, and also great friends. I want to thank all the good friends here and all the elected officials. I want to thank especially Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen. When I read his retirement statement, I almost want to cry. As a person dedicated his 40 years, good life, as a public servant, I really want to salute him. It is a very, very difficult and challenging job, especially for his lovely wife, Linda's support, in order to make this happen. I think our community is so fortunate to have a person like him because he cares about our community. As Xiaoyan has shared with us, a lot of time they drive for 2-3 hours just try to make an event to our community. And he stayed a whole night, spent time with us. He so cared about us. And also, most importantly, cares about the education, care about the future of the youth. That is the purpose of the International Leadership Foundation. The purpose of this organization is we want to share our resources in Washington, D.C. to our generation. Because we want them to be better than us. We want them to understand public policy. They are not necessary to be a politician in the future, maybe a teacher, but maybe a professor. They want to be, they could be a president of the university in the future. They need to understand the education issue. As a medical doctor, you know how Asian American community want their children to be professionals. Maybe they become lawyer, they become medical doctor, but someday they become the head of a hospital, and they need to understand health issue. So that is very important for us. For the past 16 years, we have educated thousands of students from Asian American community for they to understand public policy. One of the students, she worked at the EPA, and then she involved with the anti-terrorist project and kind of coordinate with Homeland Security. So she said, I don't understand anti-terrorist. Why do I have to work with Homeland Security and the EPA together? Of course, Homeland Security, that we understand. But what's the purpose of the EPA involved with this project? And we realized, for the ISIS, they want to control the water. They are murder, they kill people, but also they want to control the dam. They want to control the life of village in order to have people to obey them. So the terrorist is not that far away. That happens in our United States, in our mainland too. So for those students, they are studying very, very important issue to affect all of us. My husband, his family is from Poland. So people said, you are not from Asian American community. Why do you want to help Asian American community to grow? Because he said, for us, Asian American is quiet, they work hard, they never fight for their rights. But in order for us to enhance the position of Asian American community, it's not only good for the Asian American community, but it's good for the America as a whole. So the patriotism is not from our community, it's for the United States. Because we work so hard, but we keep silent, we really never understand what's the important part we can play. In the United States, we should, by proportion, we have a 26 member of Congress, but we only have a 13. And they're very hard to fight for the rights for us. Recently, there's something happened. Every time there's Chinese scientists working some sensitive issue, they label them as Chinese spies. So for our member of Congress, they're fighting very, very, very hard, try to clear our name. One is Sherry Chen from the U.S. Department of Commerce, because she had a great meeting through the introduction of her relatives in China. And when he go back to the United States, she asked the permission of her supervisor whether she can share the information with the people in China. She got a permission from the supervisor to share a link. So she sent it to them. Later on, supervisor report to her, and the FBI, they kind of came to her house, handcuffed her, and consider her as a spy. Another gentleman is Xia Xiaoxing from university. The same thing in front of his family. FBI come to handcuff him in front of his family for the humiliation for 6 months, and Sherry Chen lost her job, and then both cases has been dropped. So for Judy Chu and other members of Congress, they want to investigate it. They want to talk to the Department of Commerce, they talk to Attorney General to make sure this thing will never happen in the future. Because your face, you have been discriminated. So later on, Attorney General issued new statements. In the future, if you want to accuse anybody of spies, you have to be careful. You cannot have a racial profiling. So of course, this is experience for us. But this is not only happen in the Chinese community. We want to make sure there's no racial profiling happen to our community, no matter what kind of cases. So that's why, although we think it's far away, but it's close to our heart. We are a part of America. We dedicate so much to this country, and we want to make sure our effort and sacrifice or commitment have been recognized. So I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Owen for his always fighting for the life of our community. I also want to thank all the people here, especially Senator Hasagawa. Thank you so much for being public servant to helping us, to help us to achieve the higher goal. And I cannot thank enough for our advisor for their great effort in order to make this happen. Your scholarship will 100% to help students to get involved in American mainstream activities, and also they will pay back to our community. I want to thank the people like Kenny Strauss, Martha Lee, and Jim Marr, because for Kenny is always focused on elderly community work, for Martha for the music and culture. And also we want to introduce all our advisors for their great contribution to our community. And thank you for Deputy Director Fu coming for TechPro. Thank you very much for your presence. A lot of us from Taiwan, but we are here trying to achieve the higher goal from the Asian American community. Thank you very much for your presence today. Thank you.
Healing ceremony. And we know the International Leadership Foundation, the mission is to help to cultivate the future leaders, especially for the Asian Pacific American. And as we all know that in Taiwan we have a new government just 8 days ago, on May 20. In our new President, Dr. Tsai, in her inauguration speech, she also emphasized the importance of the future generation. In her speech, she promised the new government will bring a bright future for our new generation, and just as the mission of the foundation. So, we know the growth and development of the future generation needs cooperation between the government, the public side, and the private side, just as the ILF did. So we expect the continuity of the foundation did, and we hope that Taiwan can make some contribution in their efforts together. Thank you very much.
Seattle College, you may not know just how involved Xiaoyan is at the college. She participates on 2 of our boards, instrumental in making sure that students have opportunities for the future, as well as very involved with our real estate program at North Seattle College. So it's just an honor to receive the call from you to ask me to come to this event, and whatever I can do to honor you, Xiaoyan. So thank you so much. And for ILF, very impressive organization, very impressive organization. I think whatever we can do to make connections around the world makes the world truly a better place. And I'm not just saying that rhetorically, I'm saying that seriously. I know at North Seattle College, I'm proud to note that we recently received the status, the government status of an Asian Pacific Islander serving institution. We're very proud of that. And we're taking the next step as well. We entered our first grant with the U.S. Department of Education to make sure that we're serving all of our students, but specifically our Asian Pacific Islander students, to make sure that they have all the wraparound supports to be successful. So it's something that's very important to me as we connect to each other and we look at what education does to lift all people around the world. So ILF is a very important foundation for that. So I want to thank you all for being here, and again, it's just an honor for me to be here as well. And Xiaoyan, as I think about Xiaoyan, a sign of success is what someone can do to change tomorrow. But Xiaoyan changes people in years and years in the future. And she does that through supporting education. So again, just thank you for having me.
I don't know if you know my history, but my whole family was put into American concentration camps during World War II just because they were Japanese heritage, even though they were American citizens. So that developed this philosophy about needing to protect our civil rights and always fighting to defend freedom. But the best defense for freedom is an education. You have to be able to critically analyze the social problems that we're facing. And we need more people from our community to put our voice in those policy-making positions so that our community's concerns are met and dealt with. The U.S. government ended up eventually apologizing for interning all of these Japanese American citizens, but the court, or the investigation, said that it was due in large part to a failure of political leadership. Now, we are seeing a lot of that failure of political leadership happening today. Our country is in at a crossroads right now, because with the presidential election, we can succumb to the fear and divisiveness that's happening all around us, or we can try and unify our communities together. So when we talk about building power for our Asian Pacific American community, it's not just talking about the Chinese community or the Japanese or the Filipino. It's also about talking about Southeast Asians, Vietnamese, and the new Cambodian immigrants. Also for the East Africans, the Ethiopian, and the rest of the people who are trying to find a better life and find peace and freedom. So it's so important that we support an organization like ILF so that we educate the next leaders of our country, because they have got serious problems that they are going to have to deal with. Xiaoyan Wu is probably one of the most kind-hearted people and generous people that I know. She does so much for the community, to the extent that, you know, we go to these banquets in Chinatown all the time. She actually packages up the food and hands them out on the street afterwards because she cannot stand to see it go to waste. But Xiaoyan, thank you for donating your family, opening your family's home for this great event. And I don't know if this is actually a fundraiser. I know it's an inauguration, but if you can see your way to help donate to ILF, that would go a long ways towards helping protect our freedom in the future. Thank you, Sharon.
To stage is Xiaoyan Wu, and she will introduce our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen.
All this praise about me, and I'm very humbled by this. I'm just doing what I think I want to do. And today is about Mr. Brad Owen. It's not about me. I want to introduce Brad because my mind is very simple. I tell you, I just have 4 reasons why I support him. Number one, he is a big supporter of the Chinese community. Every time when we have a banquet, he's always there. He doesn't understand Chinese, but he will sit until the end of the banquet. And also, he lives about 3 hours away. Can you imagine to go all this banquet and eating all this same food every night, every day? And he and Bob Hasagawa, they are competing each other, saying, who got the most spring banquet? So that's number one why I support him. Number two, he's serving the community for over 40 years. Never bend. They're always fighting for the little people and the small little Chinese community or the small business people. Doesn't matter. You're just a little minority person. You can call Brad. Ask for help. That's number two. Number three, he has 6 kids. Can you imagine that? And then he had 3 daughters, a lovely daughter with Linda, and also he adopted 3 more kids, 1 from Vietnam and 2 from Korea. It takes a big heart to do what he's doing. So, that is one of a kind. And I think that all of you have listened to a lot of jokes about politician and a lawyer, right? And so, here I am, I'm supporting Brad, and I'm sorry to hear that you are leaving us after 40 years, and generally he will be retiring. But I want to take this opportunity to honor Brad Owen and his lovely wife Linda, and to be here to give us a short speech about education. And thank you so much for being here. And afterwards, he's going to perform. He's also a musician. Thank you.
Is that my suit is from China, my tie is from Korea, my saxophone there is from, well, that was from France, that one's from China as well, but most importantly, my haircut is from Tony Au. Also Chinese, where's Tony Au? Told him you should bring a sign with him when I get a picture taken. Haircut by Tony Au. Anyway. So, Cheyenne, thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to join you at this, and everybody at this inauguration of the Seattle Advisory Board of the ILF. I admire the work of the ILF, both here and at the national level, on raising civic awareness, promoting small business and entrepreneurship, and especially on leadership development. Of course, a big thank you to my friend Xiaoyan Wu for your invitation and for, as everyone has said, for hosting the event, as well as to Chuning Tong, the founder of the CEO and CEO of ILF. Thank you for coming all the way out here to the other Washington. We like to think of it as the better Washington. Not that the other one isn't important, of course. And it's especially fitting that this kickoff event take place in the month of May, in which Governor Inslee has proclaimed Asian Pacific American Month. And in this proclamation, Governor Inslee notes that Washington has a diverse population of about 674,000 people of Asian Pacific descent. And the Governor's Proclamation acknowledges and celebrates the contributions made by Asian Pacific Americans in the arts, in education, in sciences, in government, and economic development of Washington. Our state is clearly made greater and by such an outstanding and vibrant community. And like Governor Inslee, I'm very happy to recognize the contributions of our Asian populations in Washington, many of whom have made their mark as immigrants. Now, the story of business success in the state of Washington and across the United States really cannot be told without using the word immigrants. And anybody that doesn't understand that doesn't understand America. According to the American Immigration Council from 2006 to 2010, there were 45,696 new immigrant business owners in Washington. And in 2010, 15% of all business owners in Washington state were foreign born. One of those is a fellow named Ben Hu, an internet entrepreneur and founder and former CEO of the Cheeseburger Network. You haven't heard that. Mr. Hu was born in Seoul, but he grew up in California and received a degree in journalism from Northwestern University. In 2007, Hu started a blog just for fun. With his wife, he started it about living with a dog in Seattle, kind of like Xiaoyan Wu. Everybody sees her dog every day. And through this activity, he struck up a friendship with two owners of a popular website called I Can Has Cheeseburger. I don't know what that means, but I Can Has Cheeseburger. That featured a cat obsessed with cheeseburgers. Later, Hu would join with angel investors to buy the I Can Has Cheeseburger website, which then evolved into a collection of websites, all said to be somewhat silly, becoming the Cheeseburger Network. As it turns out, there's a lot of money to be made in silliness, as the websites within the Cheeseburger Network under the name of Pet Holdings Incorporated now bring in several $1 million in revenue each year. Who is also featured in the LOL reality television series on the Bravo television network, and a few years ago was named to Fast Company's list of most creative people in business. He is currently on a sabbatical from his internet companies traveling the world. No doubt he is also thinking about his next great idea. Now, Washington is home to many successful companies with a founder or founders who are immigrants or were a child of an immigrant. The Boeing Company was founded by William Boeing, the son of German immigrants. Large companies such as Nordstrom's, the Weyerhaeuser Company, Costco, Wholesale, and Amazon all have their roots in immigrants that first generation Americans together employ over 250,000 people and bring in $180 billion in revenue each year. Now, Costco, by the way, is spreading rapidly in China, primarily through its alliance with Alibaba. They are selling more than $1 million in American products a day online, primarily nuts, toothpaste, Huggies, and baby wipes. And they're looking at opening stores in China as well. It is somewhat ironic that Jack Ma, it is said, the founder of Alibaba, first learned about the internet in Seattle when a friend showed and explained it to him over a beer. He went on to found what is today one of the world's largest online companies, rivaling Amazon. Now, with the exception of our indigenous people who have lived on this land for thousands of years, most of us only have to look back in history to a period of less than 200 years, to when the families first settled in the United States. For instance, the ancestry I most closely identify with is German. Although, like many Americans, I'm a mix of many lineages. While some of our Asian Pacific families can trace their American roots to the 1800s, many more have been here for fewer than 1 or 2 generations. Chinese families were first among the Asian Pacific population to come to the United States in significant numbers. Many fleeing the Taiping Rebellion in the mid-1800s and the destruction of Chinese ports by British warships. The Chinese were followed by the Japanese, then the Filipinos, with each population having its own reasons for coming to this great nation. Usually, that would be either finding a safer place to live for their families due to oppressive conditions at home, or simply from the allure of a better life in this part of the world. And Koreans have also established a strong presence in Washington State. Many of whom are incredible entrepreneurs as well. During my time as Lieutenant Governor, I have had the privilege of getting to know many Asian Pacific entrepreneurs personally and count as my friends. Asunta Eng, David Cho and Steve, and Jenny from AAT TV, and then of course Jerry Lee, former CEO and board chair of the Mulvaney G2 Architectural Corporation, who now, I understand, need to tell you, spends much of his time on philanthropic causes, and I have seen him at an incredible number of foundation and charitable events. Jerry, you're an incredible asset to the great state of Washington, and we thank you very much, not only for the company that you created and built here and around the world, but for your philanthropy. It's incredible, and we appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. And Paul Liao, who immigrated from Taiwan as a young man, became a successful engineer, invested heavily in commercial real estate. And these are just a few stories of American success and entrepreneurship from our Asian Pacific population. And of course, someone who I greatly admire over the years is our former Washington Governor, Gary Locke, and everybody should know about Gary's success as governor and, of course, Department of Commerce and then ambassador to China. And over the past 2 decades, we've seen an increase in the numbers of people from India in our state, considered to be part of South Asia. They've immigrated to the state of Washington, primarily to the Puget Sound area, either seeking an advanced education or recruited by companies with lucrative jobs in the technology sector. An interesting thing about this influx of immigrants that have come into the state of Washington from India is all of a sudden we're hearing about this thing called cricket and rugby in the state of Washington. And through these years, and often in suffering through many hardships, our Asian Pacific population has not only persevered, but in countless instances have risen to be leaders in business, government, industry, and in education. The Wing Luke Museum of the Asian Pacific American Experience in Seattle tells many of their stories, many of which are uniquely American and uniquely Washingtonian. Which brings me back to the tenets of the International Leadership Foundation and why this inaugural event of the ILF Advisory Board is so important. First and foremost, it is the encouragement by the ILF for its members to participate in public service. Now, public service can and does come in many forms. It may be serving in a political office, as I've done for the past 40+ years, or for a nonprofit organization working for them. It may be volunteering in the community by serving others, and there is nothing greater in this world than helping others. It may be helping out in schools. It may be mentoring disadvantaged kids through a youth organization or at a community center, or simply leading or helping out with community events. And I often tell people, young people particularly, who ask me how to get involved in politics, or what do I do if I want to run for office or be acknowledged as leader, to develop, I tell them to develop what I call a resume of caring. In other words, find ways to show people that you are involved and engaged in things that will help others make a difference in their communities. And organizations like the International Leadership Foundation can help its members develop professionally through community involvement and through mentoring programs. But an important part of that needs to be reaching out and helping others. As chair of the nonprofit organization Mentoring Works Washington, I have seen how much good a mentor can make in the difference in the life of a young person. So I believe and I recommend strongly that civic organizations find ways to reach out, to share knowledge, and especially guide young people to success. Mentorship can make a huge difference. Another point I like about the ILF is its focus on small business and entrepreneurship. There are roughly 40,000 businesses in Washington state owned by Asians. Small business has always been the backbone of our state's economy. In recent years, small business has been partially driven by our booming tech industry, ready access to potential investors, and a skilled talent pool, and a relatively friendly business environment. Washington is known for being a hub of entrepreneurship, where simple ideas can be nurtured and developed into reality, and then they can thrive. I have great admiration for successful entrepreneurs. I know how difficult it is. I've been in business myself. In fact, I am an inspiring entrepreneur still, though not nearly to the level of most of you. I used to own and operate small convenience stores in Mason and Great Harbor counties. Linda probably snickering over there because she says, yeah, who ran it the last 15 years? You know, when you were in politics. Okay, well, we it's amazing the Great Harbor county. Although I sold the last one in Shelton quite a few years ago, it still bears the name Brad's Quick Stop. Now, when not novice, I have a mobile archery business and teach archery. And a few years ago, I had an idea for another thing that I had to put on the back burner, but you see, I'm going to retire in a few months. Maybe I'll just pull that out and work on it again. I'm proud to say that when I was a legislator, I could actually claim that I had a background in business. There are many legislators who have pivotal votes on small business issues who have never been in business for themselves. And often because of this, they fail to make the truth, or fail to take the true perspective of business into account when making crucial policy decisions. So your education and motivating young people to get involved in and understand their government is, in my mind, critical to the survival of small privately owned businesses. I really appreciate the fact that Senator Hasegawa is always out at our events as well. And he comes and he listens and he learns just as I have over the years. And I can tell you he's an incredible asset in the Senate for this community, Senator. I'm going to miss working with you. I appreciate that the Seattle Advisory Board of the ILF contributes to the ILF Fellowship, which sends Asian students to Washington, D.C. to educate them on the nation's policy-making process, seeing firsthand how Congress makes laws and sets policy, and it is a great opportunity, even as dysfunctional as our Congress might seem to be sometimes. I cannot tell you how important that is for people to understand the system. Put partisanship aside, put policy ahead, and make things happen. We do that by education. As you know, there are many, many Asian organizations in Seattle and in Washington State that contribute to the greater good and are a big part of what makes our state so richly diversified. It was very heartening to see the Seattle Chinese community come together in the days after the horrific Oso mudslide and raise funds to help victims. And you should know, Ms. Tom, that whenever there is a disaster, whether it be here, whether it be in China or somewhere else, this community steps up with their time, their effort, and their money, and they do it in a big way. And I'm very, very proud to be considered a friend to this community. They help others within the international community and beyond. So the Seattle Advisory Board of the ILF now joins these other organizations as a means of bringing the Asian Pacific community together on issues of training and education and networking, and it's incredibly important. So I want to stand here and say thank you for mentoring. Thank you for educating. Thank you for bringing civic awareness to young people and helping them be better citizens, not only in the state of Washington, but in the great United States of America. Thank you all very much.
bright pleasant days, warm sacred times, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are there on the faces of people walking by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're saying, I love you. I live each Friday. I watch them go. They're much more than we ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Chinese town because he focused so much on Indonesia, Indochina, Chinese refugee, and also elderly community. And we're just so proud of his work. And so, Chinese town, please. Yes. Celebrate the Asia Concert Committee. Yes, Martha. Thank you. Yes.